Courtside Conversations.
Courtside Conversations.
The Roland-Garros Tennis Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Courtside Conversations, the official Roland-Garros podcast. Your front row seat to the stories, stars and soul of the most iconic clay court tournament in the world. I'm Gigi Salmon. Together with special guests, we are going to be keeping you company throughout the year with the second Grand Slam of the year, never too far from our thoughts, and now just a matter of weeks away. And with that in mind, I'm delighted to say, and I should say we had a few technical issues, but the main thing is she is here with us, so bear with us. We have so much to talk about, but I'm delighted that joining us, tournament director, former world number one, Grand Slam champion, Amelie Mauresmo. Amelie, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you, Gigi. I'm really good. Thank you. Very happy to be with you today.
And how busy are you at the moment with Roland-Garros just a matter of weeks ago? I really appreciate the fact that you can give us this time.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Listen, I'm quite busy. Obviously, it's everyone's getting really excited with the tournament coming up quite soon now. The teams need these few weeks ahead because everything needs to be put together for the start of the tournament on May 19th. But everyone is really high and motivated as never, and really looking forward for the tournament.
Now, I remember speaking to you about this last year on the podcast, but I think it's worth taking us back again to when you first became aware of Roland-Garros and what it's come to mean to you over the years, because it's such a special place for you.
It is a special place. As you know, Roland-Garros and Yannick Noah winning Roland-Garros in '83 is the start of my tennis story. So obviously of my life, basically, because it's the center of my life for more than 40 years now. And I couldn't be happier when Gilles, the president of the French Tennis Federation, asked me if I wanted to join as a tournament director. I obviously said yes right away, and since then I've learned a lot in a different way about the tournament. I've learned about the people that are making the tournament possible, also, and all the people that are working with me. So it's a great story. I'm really lucky and very happy to be in this position today. I have known the tournament in many different ways as a player, obviously as a youngster, looking ahead and having the dream to play the tournament, as a player, as a commentator, as a spectator, as a captain of the national team, and now as a tournament director. So yeah, I know the place really well. It took me a year of being the tournament director to really know how this works and really know exactly where I want to bring the tournament.
And I know, as you touched on there, that Roland-Garros it's always been a place of work for you, training, playing, working in the media, now as a tournament director. But how have those feelings changed and evolved over the years? Because I imagine you've been through every emotion possible within the walls of Roland-Garros.
The most intense emotions came when I was a player, I would say. Although now, as a tournament director, you go through a lot of fatigue, different emotions as well. But the tournament is long, and now with the night sessions and everything, it's 3 weeks of intense work, but it's also very exciting. So yeah, it's a few ups and downs still during these 3 weeks, but overall, I think the bigger emotions you get is when you're a player, I would say.
Yeah, you talked and you've spoken before about the intensity of playing at Roland-Garros, because as a player, it must be such a wonderful thing to be from a country that has a Grand Slam, but there's also the pressure that brings with it. For the weeks of that tournament, all the eyes and the expectation are on you.
Definitely. And for me, I dreamed about Roland-Garros, but the fact as a little girl that I dreamed about it, when I was in age of playing the tournament, all of a sudden it was all the pressure and all these images, I think, from my childhood. that came to my mind, and I never really, quite achieved to handle these emotions in the best possible way to be able to play my best tennis. So it is a chance. We're very lucky to have as French players and to have this tournament, Roland-Garros at home, but also it comes with huge pressure, and everyone is dealing with the pressure in different ways. I tried many things over the years, but never really, took advantage as I should have or wished I could have of being French in Roland-Garros.
And looking back on that, is there any advice you could give to up and coming French players? Or do you feel, as you touched on there, that it's a very individual journey and a process that people have to go through?
That's tricky. It's very tricky because we're all very different, and handling with these pressures, own pressure and the pressure from the outside, the crowd, the media, the team. I would say go back to the basics and to the game. That's what I was trying to do, but I could never really achieve, is get back to the process, each point, each game, each set, and really focus on the game rather than the, what's at stake and the dreams and the expectations and pressure. That's secondary, but it's easy to say and a little bit more complicated to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from when you were playing and seeing how things are today, what's the biggest change for you on the court? What would you enjoy or maybe get frustrated by if you were playing today?
I would have loved to try the night sessions, to be honest, with the court, which is probably a little bit more heavy with the clay, getting a little bit slower. That I think for me would have been a good thing. And then, because even I'm not even talking about center court, I'm talking about the fact that now Roland Garros has lights on every court, and we can play late on each court. So, I mean, last year it rained basically the whole first week of the main draw, and we finished matches really late on all the courts. So yeah, I would be interested to see how the conditions are in these late nights, and then the physicality of the game. I think women's tennis has evolved a lot in terms of the girls. More women now are athletes, and I think that's more challenging now than it was before. So yeah, would be happy to try that as well.
If we bring it round to Roland-Garros 2025 and what's new, I think we have to talk about the tributes, because it feels like there will be a series of tributes staged throughout the tournament. And we have to begin with 14-time champion Rafa Nadal. I'm not sure if there's anything you can tell us about your tribute, or maybe at least when the tribute will take place.
There's not much I can tell you, as you can imagine. We want this to be a surprise, first of all, for Rafa, and then for everyone. But it will be at his image, I think. And also, and as you know, it will be on May 25th, and it will be at the end of the day session.
And I think it's really interesting. He was asked about it recently, and he said, look, I'm not someone that likes tributes, I'm quite quiet, but if there is going to be something, then it has to be there because Roland Garros means so much to me.
Well, we know that he's been so vocal throughout. I mean, for the last 20 years about how Roland Garros is important to him, and obviously, 14 titles there is quite incredible. So, yeah, we first he wants this tribute to be there, or maybe let's say that the biggest tribute for him to be there, and we want to have a special tribute for him, because that's what he deserves with the history between him and the tournament. So we doing everything we can, and hopefully it will be great, and he will feel the love and the emotion to spend this last time on the center court with everyone on this day.
I imagine as a tournament, it's going to be really strange not to have his name on the entry list. But I think for me, it's going to be when Marc Moret, the master of ceremonies on Philippe Chatrier, would introduce him, and he would say all the years where he's won the title. I mean, it's absolutely iconic when that happens.
Yeah, it really became a thing and kind of what everyone is expecting when Rafa enters the court, and I think Rafa likes it as well. Um, you can see his face when he walks, or when he walked on that court for the last few years. That adding each time one more year in the sentence is something special. So yeah, I think it's maybe we're gonna see it again.
Now, you said in the tournament press conference that his 14 Roland Garros titles will perhaps remain unequaled. Now, we don't want to discourage any other players, but surely we will never see that happen again.
Yeah, if we speak truly, and from if I speak from what I have in my head, from what I believe, is that it's unreal what he did, and for someone in the next 20 years or even more than this to do that would be quite a surprise for me. Can match these 14 titles, and yeah, I cannot think about something more challenging that has been done in sport in general, or something more incredible. I mean, surely we have great champions and many sports that I'm maybe not even well aware of, but knowing tennis and knowing the difficulty of winning a slam and winning a Roland Garros in Paris, it's really something really, really special that he's been doing for the last 20 years. So, yeah, I mean, probably the next one, I'm not sure he's born yet.
It's an unbelievable achievement, and I believe that for those people who won't have the pleasure of being on Philippe Chatrier on the 25th, that the tennis museum is also going to play its part in honouring Nadal.
Right. We also on this side, we wanted to have a tribute for him in a different way throughout the whole main draw, throughout the main draw, to have a special exhibition of Rafa. And again, it will be a surprise, but some nice things for the people that are going to come to Roland Garros in the stadium, not necessarily on Philippe Chatrier, but definitely to be able to go down there in our museum and see what we've prepared for Rafa is also something I'm looking forward to.
And I did just want to mention to people listening that Chris Clary, a friend and colleague of ours, has a new book out called The Warrior, Rafael Nadal and His Kingdom of Clay. Now it's out on the 13th. It looks back at those 14 French Opens, and it will be well worth a read. So that's going to be an amazing way to start the tournament. Then later on, between the two women's semi-finals, Roland Garros is going to honour someone you know well, you had an on-court rivalry with in Mary Pierce, because I can't believe this, it's 25 years since she won the double.
Time flies. We want to, as you know, the 20 years of her win was during COVID, so we couldn't really celebrate her win in 2000 the way we wanted, or at least the way the tournament wanted. I wasn't there at the time. And since she's also been inducted in the Hall of Fame last year, we want to have a tribute for her between the two women's semis, and make sure she knows again how much we love her and we appreciate what she did for French tennis and for the tournament as well.
For some people listening who may not have had the pleasure of seeing Mary play, what can you tell them that she did so well? What made her difficult to play, and what made her so successful?
There are two things that come to my mind when you're asking me this question. One is purely tennis. She was hitting the ball so hard and so clean. Her hitting was her strokes were unbelievable, and very, very powerful and very aggressive. The way she played, she wasn't moving. She wasn't the best mover, but definitely when you had to pass the 3-4 first strokes with her, and then you could enter a different battle, at least on my side. And then the second thing that comes to my mind is her spirit, and she. And I learned a lot actually from watching her and being around her and seeing how she was handling and approaching the events, the big events. She would, be injured for a few weeks, few months, and have a little bit of practice, and she would enter the next tournament, whether it was a Grand Slam or any tournament, with the confidence that she's going to win it, that she can win it, and that she's going to win it, and no doubt were really entering her mind. And I tried to really be inspired with this because that wasn't something natural for me. And she really kind of taught me how to do that over the years. So yeah, that was Serena has this in a such even stronger way, obviously, but Mary had this kind of spirit that regardless of what happens, she knows she enters the tournament and she can win it.
And that tribute to Mary Pierce will take place between the women's semi-finals. And I cannot believe this is going to be the 22nd and final Roland-Garros for Richard Gasquet.
True. Yeah. And again, that's another from Rafa's generation that is going to take a bow. And it will be emotional for sure for Richard. He loves tennis. He keeps, I'm pretty sure he's going to keep playing tennis, with friends, with the young ones, he has a passion for this sport that is quite unbelievable. And his longevity in tennis is extraordinary. So yeah, we want, and we definitely, he's been, for again, 20 years or more than this for French tennis, such a big character and the face of French tennis. So yeah, we want to also to have a nice ceremony for him.
Something you touched upon at the start when you were talking about Roland Garros was you described it as a 3-week event. And it's becoming more and more clear that the first week that was qualifying is now very much part of the tournament. And it feels like Roland Garros in that first week is trying to make it more of a fan experience to make it a 3-week event.
Yeah, when I was in my first edition in 2022, I said, okay, listen, I would like for the qualies. At the time, not even half of the stadium was open. We were playing qualies in the back courts with very little crowd, and I thought, this period of the tournament is a period where we should have more people watching tennis. The people that are not necessarily tennis fans to start with, and so we try to make it quite accessible for people with low prices, and we opened not the first year, but now we have all the facility that is open, all the practice that you can watch from center court to any court in the stadium. So it's really the fans, the pure fans that are coming, but also the new people that think, we cannot go to the final or the final stages of the tournament, but we can surely, or for 15 or 29 years, go there, spend 8, 9, 10 hours in Roland Garros and live our own special Roland Garros. And that's what I love. And we have, we hope to have 90,000 people on that week this year, because I think it's worth what we show, and what the players are showing on that week is quite extraordinary as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Qualifying week brings up some amazing stories. The other thing, and we're speaking to each other during the Madrid event. I was working on it this week, and there was an issue that came up with a line call. It's automated in Madrid. And it made me think that with Wimbledon introducing electronic line calling, Roland Garros remains the only Grand Slam to retain line judges. So I was interested to know, why is it so important for the FFT to keep the line judges?
Well, first of all, it is, as you know, the umpiring school for the French Tennis Federation is quite big. So it is something that is politically very important for the French Tennis Federation and the president. But as speaking as a tournament director as well, we didn't want to jump into the electronic line calling right away. We want to take time to see how it goes in the other clay court tournaments, because I think it's quite different to have it on hard court or grass where you don't have marks than to have it on clay. So we really want to take time. We're not going to rush into anything. So this year we decided to keep it. As you can imagine, we had to make a decision earlier this year. And we will see. We will see how the other tournaments are going. We will see how it's going to go during Roland-Garros 2025. And we will talk. We keep the mind open. But yes, for this year, we keep the line judges.
So we know we're going to be saying a final goodbye to Nadal, not as a player, but as a tribute. Someone else who we have to make the most of is Novak Djokovic. We don't know for how much longer we'll see him. Amelie, he said everything's about Roland-Garros now. He's looking for Grand Slam title number 25. And it's incredible what he's already achieved, but also that he continues to have the desire and the drive to go for more.
Yeah, I admire this so much. It's incredible, and what he's already achieved is quite extraordinary. And trying to go for the 25th to be the last, let's say the last one up there, the only one, put it this way, up there is incredible, and definitely is going to be interesting to see how he handles this, either physically but also mentally. Because we were talking about pressure earlier, and pressure that you can put on yourself. I think Novak is so demanding on himself that it's interesting to see him evolve and handle this pressure throughout the years, and it will be in the next few weeks to see how he handles this. Very interesting.
Yeah, because you feel the pressure isn't going to go anywhere. It's just almost going to build. But I imagine it'll be a very special moment for him when he walks back out onto Philippe Chatrier, where he completed the set, as it were. He won the gold against Alcaraz at the Olympics.
Yeah, the moment. I mean, I was there actually on that day, and it was an incredible moment, and you could see how he wanted this gold. We cannot put it any other way. He just had to get it, and he knew it was probably the last chance to have it, and how he handled that moment was quite impressive. So let's see. I mean, it's best of 5 in Roland-Garros. That's also a big difference, but definitely for him, huge memories and great memories from last summer. So we'll see.
I have to ask you about a man you know very well, having coached him, in Andy Murray, now coach of Novak Djokovic. Were you as surprised as seemingly the rest of the world when the news came out they were working together?
Yeah, of course, I was surprised, but not shocked, kind of. It's something that resembles to both of them. One, Novak, to have this kind of thought, having the idea to call Andy, because Novak has been coached by very by Boris, by Goran, and he's always looking for new pair of eyes to see his game and to bring him new things. And also the friendship that they have is maybe something that he needed. And then for Andy to say yes, I'm also not that surprised or not shocked, because he loves tennis, he loves challenges, and definitely he's the guy that is curious for everything. So yeah, not that surprised that he said yes as well.
Could you always see him go into coaching? Because you talked about how much he loves the sport. Did you think Murray would go into coaching? And what do you think, from knowing him, he will bring as a coach?
I thought he would go into coaching, but not as early as this, especially because of the family, to be honest. Yes, I didn't really see him traveling again, although he travels less than when he was playing. But I didn't see him travel again as much, having the four kids. But coaching, yes, because he loves the strategic part of the game. He loves to think about how to beat someone, how to maneuver someone. So that's in his DNA. for sure. And then what he can bring, I mean, he's been the best players of the last 20 years. So he has the mental, the spirit, he has the eye for the strategy. I mean, he knows Novak really, really well, his game, and he also knows what, can make the difference for what Novak does that can annoy every other player. So probably he's going to push him in this direction.
Did you find it difficult making the transition from player to coach, or was it quite straightforward for you?
I didn't find it difficult. No. For me, when my career was over, it was really over. I didn't have. Some people are talking about, being a little depressed. It's a hard time. It's a tough moment. You don't know what to do. I wasn't like that. I was relieved. I was happy. I thought I had done everything that I could have as a player in tennis, and I was happy to try and help other players. So for me personally, it wasn't difficult. It was different than what I thought, and I realized I was demanding a lot and expecting a lot as a player from my team, from my coach, physical coach, anyone. Which is normal. I think you don't get to the top not being this way. But yes, it was good, and I loved being on the other side as well.
Now, as we're recording this, unfortunately, Carlos Alcaraz has had to withdraw from Madrid due to an injury he picked up in the final of Barcelona. He, before that, won Monte Carlo, lost that Barcelona final to Holger Rune. But I think, Amelie, what has been so nice in recent weeks is to see the smile back on his face, and it feels he has the joy, he has that pleasure of playing tennis that just seemed to disappear for a while.
Yeah, he had this from the beginning of his career, and we all saw him coming on tour, having this huge smile, having fun on the court, basically. And I think when you get to the top and you start winning slams and having these expectations, sometimes it can be difficult to keep that throughout the journey. And honestly, to have him 2 months not having, or not even that, 1 month and a half not having the smile, but then it's getting back. It's not much. I'm happy for him that he found it again, because it's part of him, and I think he can only play tennis, or at least his best tennis, this way. But yeah, I mean, we are all human, and he's also human, and to have these downs sometimes is also something that he can learn from, I think. And it's not worrying. I mean, he's young, he plays incredible tennis, and we kind of knew that this smile was going to be back on his face, and that the game and the level of play was going to be back also.
So a lot of the talk leading into Roland-Garros, it's Djokovic, will he win 25? It's Carlos Alcaraz, can he get the smile back and now the fitness? We have Jannik Sinner, who'll be returning after his ban in time for the Rome Masters. But not a lot feels like it's being said about Sasha Zverev, and maybe you feel it should be, because he's a finalist at Roland-Garros. He recently won in Munich, and he's spoken himself of, without Sinner, that pressure to be number one got to him, but he seems to have relaxed back into his game again.
Yeah, it's good for him that he won in Munich. I think he needed that for his confidence, and especially leading to Roland-Garros, where probably is the Grand Slam that he feels the most comfortable at. So I'm not that concerned for Sasha Zverev, even though he didn't have, before Munich, he didn't have the best months of his career since the Australian Open. But when you win a tournament, I think you gain a lot of confidence back. So I'm really now curious to see in the big ones leading up to Roland-Garros, if this is going to show, or if he or not, basically.
And I did just want to ask, and there's a wonderful article on RolandGarros.com at the moment with him about João Fonseca. He's 18, he's from Brazil, and wow, has he set the tennis world alight.
Yeah, it's nice to see these young people coming in, young players, moving the tour, and having no fear. They just get there and with a smile on the face as well, and they have no fear whatsoever, and it's great. It's great for the game. It's great for the entertainment. It's great for the crowd, and I'm looking forward also to see how everything is turning for these guys.
And on the men's side, there are 10 French players in the top 100, 5 in the top 50. But I think just a word on Gaël Monfils. He's 38 and he keeps breaking records for being the oldest person to win a match in Madrid, to win the title in Auckland. I mean, he's still playing at a very top level.
Yeah, he's incredible. Gaël is first of all, he's such a special athlete. And to be able to stay fit at that age is also, first of all, remarkable. And then he also loves the game and he enjoys being on the court. He likes to make a show out there to entertain people. And I'm pretty sure he's looking forward to playing Roland-Garros again. I mean, he loves it. We communicate a lot for each time the tournament is approaching and how he feels and how he wants to make the show and entertain. So he just loves it, and he said that it's not how it was a few years ago in terms of playing every tournament and everything. He's more cautious on his schedule, but definitely Roland Garros has always been a highlight of his career. So I'm looking forward to to have him in good shape. I hope good shape first of all.
Rafa Nadal, the undisputed king of clay, and the label of Queen has gone to Iga Świątek. 5 Grand Slam titles at the age of 23, 4 of them on the clay. I think first up, what makes her so good on a clay court?
2 things also. I believe she's moving incredibly well and very adapted to clay. The sliding, the moving is quite unbelievable. How she covers the court is really impressive. And then how she plays with a little bit of spin on the forehand side. That's also something that we don't see much on women's side, and I think that's a big weapon for her. So consistent physically and also mentally, she's been very impressive in my opinion since her first, because when she came, she won her first Roland Garros, but then you have to show up again every year and to win 4 times in 5 editions is quite extraordinary, to be honest.
I think what I underestimated was the pressure she is under. We spoke on camera and then off camera in Miami, and she'd posted on social media about expectations. And she was saying that, especially back in Poland, every move is followed, everything is critiqued. And then you think she is only 23 years of age, and she does carry a lot of pressure.
She does, and that's why I'm saying the mental part of her is really, really strong, because you see her when she gets to a tournament, and especially when she's a title holder like in Roland Garros, there is some tension, there is some pressure. Not everything is going smooth as every day, but she just hangs in there and delivers her best tennis. And when she doesn't deliver her best tennis, she fights like hell to live and to fight another day, another battle, the next match. So that's why she's also really, really impressive. Her game fits the clay really well, that's for sure. But mentally, wow, very strong at only 23.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. But she doesn't come in as number one. That's Aryna Sabalenka, who recently lost in the Stuttgart final. And I think it was last year, Aryna Sabalenka, I was speaking to her about the clay. She said, I'd like to play more clay. I want to get a lot better on clay. So, I mean, Amelie, who knows? This could be her year.
No, it could be, definitely. I mean, she's been playing some incredible tennis as well the last couple of years, and I believe she can win on clay in Roland Garros. There's no doubt about this. I understand that it doesn't come to her as naturally as Iga, maybe in terms of movement, of sliding, and trajectory in the ball. But with the power that she has and her physicality and her mental strength as well, I don't see why she wouldn't be able to hold the trophy one day, maybe starting this year.
And beating her in Stuttgart was Jelena Ostapenko, former Roland-Garros champion. And I thought it was wonderful going into the final. She'd beaten Iga Świątek. They said, "Oh, did you think you could play this well?" And she said, "Well, I have won Roland-Garros, so I'm quite I'm quite good on the clay." But her attitude and her game when it comes together is just phenomenal.
Well, that's the thing. When everything comes together, I mean, she's pretty hard to beat because she has such a strong power. And when the ball stays in, and it's incredible. And she has some very high hops, and then she goes down because it's hard to keep this level when you hit so strong and when you hit the lines where when you don't have that much of a security in your game. But definitely when it all comes together, she can beat anyone, and she proved it again.
It's frightening. And we've been talking a little bit about coaching and coaching partnerships. One that is going so well is Mira Andreeva. She's only 17, already a double 1,000 champion, and she's giving a lot of credit to Conchita Martinez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good. I mean, Conchita is definitely a great coach, and she's been having some unbelievable results with all the players that she's been looking over. And I'm not surprised that she keeps doing some great work with Mira. And it's nice to see this partnership work well and to be recognized. Although I mean, definitely the player is the one doing the job, but it's important nowadays. I mean, it's always been important, but nowadays it's as a champion, you can be also isolated a little bit. So it's very important to have good people around you. And Conchita is a good person, so I'm happy for her as well.
And I think it's wonderful, and it talks about the strength and depth that, yes, Iga Świątek will probably still go in as favourite, but we've talked about Sabalenka and Ostapenko. You can throw in Coco Gauff, you can throw in Elena Rybakina as to where she is, the Jessica Pegula, Emma Navarro, just the strength and depth in the women's game at the moment.
It's building, and it's been like this for 2 years, couple of years now, a few years. And it's good to see because you have some names that are coming back again and again and again in Grand Slams, in big events, a little bit lower than the slams. So I think for the crowd, it's very important, and it makes people want to follow women's tennis even more. So it's been the case before, and now I'm happy that it's the case again. And it's important for women's tennis, in my opinion, to have kind of like you said, 8-10 players that are really on top of the game, and you can see week after week that they fight together or against each other to win the tournament that is happening on that week. So I think it's good for the game.
And let me ask you, in the weeks leading up to Roland Garros, will there be much time for sleep? Will there be any days off, or is it just all building up to the Grand Slam starting?
It's going to be a little bit of sleep. It's going to be, I'm running a marathon in 10 days. So
oh, wow.
I still have a little bit of practice to do, and then to deliver on May 4th. And then after that, I'll be okay to focus only on Roland-Garros.
Oh, I cannot believe you've squeezed a marathon into the build-up to Roland-Garros.
Yeah, a little bit crazy, as you can imagine.
No, this is maybe a good distraction. Good to have a balance. So, I mean, as well as saying thank you so much for making the time to speak to us, I must also add good luck with the marathon.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, we talk about it when the tournament comes. So I will let you know how long it's taken me.
Oh, absolutely. Amelie Mauresmo, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. That is it from Courtside Conversations. Thank you for your company. When we return, we will be saying goodbye to the clay and hello to the grass. So until next time, bye for now.